What's up, Renegades? I am Lupine Fiasco. This is your daily FaB gameplay, and today's game is against us, FaB, Rising Rebellion. For anyone new to the channel, welcome. What we do here is review replays of games that I have played on Talishar.net days or weeks ago. I'll walk through turn cycles as if I were playing them now, while explaining my thought processes for the lines I would take. We compare that to what I did in the past to either learn from our mistakes or reinforce good play patterns. The goal is to optimize and tighten our gameplay in the future and walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. With all that said, let's take a look at our sideboard and game plan. Today's game features my Kodachi list. If you would like to check out that deck list or try it for yourself, you can find it in the video description below. While you're down there, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Subscribing is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. We have won the die roll. We are going to decide to go second. In any aggro mirror, going second is best, as it will allow us to block with our opening hand, mitigate as much incoming damage as we can, then draw up at the end of our turn. On our first turn, we get to attack our opponent's life total or hand directly, and they will not get to draw back up at the end of our turn, so we are stripping life points or resources from them, and generally gaining tempo as soon as the game starts. Talking about our equipment here, we are not going to change anything from our initial loadout. We are keeping our Kodachis, our Mask of Momentum, our Flamescale Furnace, our Tiger Stripe Shuko, and our Snapdragon Scalers. With our Kodachi deck list, the plan is to send 6 chain links every turn, forcing our opponent to block multiple times in order to stop a Mask of Momentum trigger. We are also hoping to line up 4 or 5 power attacks on those mask trigger links to get even more cards from our opponent's hand. This is more so the case against FaB. We know from playing the deck that we can have very unfortunate blocking hands. 2 blocks or non-blocks like Art of War or Phoenix Flame showing up at the wrong time can really put us on the back foot, and we are going to look to utilize that advantage by threatening Mask of Momentum triggers. This is an aggro match. We know that our games as FaB do not go long, even more so in the mirror. So we are not going to get as much value from Fiamball Spring Tunic as we would need to justify playing it over Flamescale Furnace. Furnace giving us 3 points of life and helping us stop important on-hits like Mask of Momentum triggers, Breaking Points, or Mounting Angers. FaB does not deal arcane damage, so Spell Void or Arcane Barrier, just not good to bring in. Does not serve us in any real way. Looking at our 60 cards, we are not going to trade anything out. We are looking to out-aggro FaB, so we are not bringing in any defense reactions. We do not need our energy potions. While they can help set up for big Art of War turns, they don't block. We want to be able to block if we need to, not that we want to, but in the event that we are getting hit by a powerful on-hit or that we would otherwise die. We want to be able to block. And Command and Conquer here, while being strong disruption against FaB, is generally clunky to play. Our blue count in Kodachis is not super high, and while we may get value out of disrupting FaB, the Command and Conquer effect is not nearly as powerful as it is against a ranger like Lexi or Azalea, so we do not see the need to bring it in here. I've touched on our gameplay quite a bit already, but this is the FaB mirror. We are trying to hit them harder than they hit us. We are looking to threaten Mask of Momentum triggers, strip cards from them on defense, lower the power of their turns, and look to snowball that into a victory. Something that changes in this matchup from other slower matchups is that we are not afraid to block with our Tiger Stripe Shuko early because the games are so short. Getting value out of it in addition to its block value can be difficult. And if we have the opportunity to block a Mask Momentum, Breaking Point, or Mounting Anger trigger with it, we are going to look to take that. Blocking with Mask Momentum early can be a winning line, but generally we do want to keep it around to put offensive pressure on our opponent and force them to block. You know the equipment loadout, you know the game plan. Let's jump into the gameplay and see how it all comes together for us. We put our opposing FaB on the play first. FaB opening up with "This round's on me" is pretty devastating for us. That really is what FaB wants to be doing on turn 0 in the mirror. We do draw a card, and while our next turn is going to be weaker due to the "This round's on me" effect, we draw into an Art of War, which is going to negate the negative power of that "This round's on me." Minus our Kodachis, it is worth noting that "This round's on me" is a blanket -1 effect to all attacks that includes weapons. So our Kodachis here are going to be less effective, but we can use our blue to pitch for Art of War, hopefully draw into some Mounting Angers or Soaring Strikes to utilize those floating resources. All of this is to say that I'm not going to block this Mounting Anger. FaB has no resources available and 1 card in hand, so we can afford to take 4 from this Mounting Anger, and if FaB banishes his remaining card to play, we can block that. But I'm expecting FaB to arsenal that last card in hand, which gives us a 5-card Art of War going into our turn 1. We can afford to take some damage knowing how much more we're going to dish back. And that just puts us into a better position knowing that FaB is going to need to block out on this turn, which lowers his offensive capabilities. We draw into another blue and another Draconic starter. The Soul Bead Strike here is a bit unfortunate. What we can do in this turn is lead with a Ronin Renegade, activate FaB using our 2 floating resources to pick up our Phoenix Flame, attack with the Phoenix Flame, then attack with a Lava Vein Loyalty, and finish the turn with an Enlightened Strike. So that looks like 3, 1, 3, 5. I'm going to draw a card from the Enlightened Strike, look to arsenal that. FaB blocking 3 is kind of awkward. He can block with 2 pieces of equipment, give us the Flamescale Furnace and Tiger Stripe Shuko, which gives us an extra bit of value and takes his Shuko off the board. Or he could give us a card from hand and equipment. If he draws into a 3-block, he could give us that as well. But FaB with 4 cards is a lot less deadly than FaB with 5 cards. Our power scales exponentially. So either way, we're getting something valuable from FaB, a card from hand or a Tiger Stripe Shuko. It is worth noting that our opposing FaB is on Emberblade and Mask of Momentum. I think this is a very cool decision that I would encourage anyone who is on the Emberblade list to experiment with. If you lose the die roll and have to go first, take Mask of Momentum as your mask of choice rather than Pouncing Links. You get the opportunity to set up a 5-card hand, which is going to let you more easily threaten 2 Mask of Momentum triggers in a turn, while dealing more damage from your Emberblade. If you trigger Mask of Momentum, that lets you set up a 5-card hand in the future. Or if your opponent blocks all of your Mask of Momentum triggers, you lower the value of their next turn. Either way, you're taking tempo back that you lost from having to go first. This all said, let's get back to our turn cycle. We start with our Ronin Renegade for 3. And look to follow this up by activating FaB. Here, instead, I play out Lava Vein Loyalty. I don't necessarily agree with it, but we do get a block from our opposing FaB, which does potentially work out for us. We get to play our Phoenix Flame for 1, and follow with an E-Strike for 5, draw a card. Depending on what we draw, we can use our Snapdragon Scalers to force blocks out of FaB, and we draw a Mounting Anger. This is a really interesting decision because we can use our Snapdragon Scalers to give the E-Strike go again and play our Mounting Anger, which either gets 2 cards from FaB or armor. The question is, am I willing to trade Snapdragon Scalers for Tiger Stripe Shuko? Or do I pass the turn, arsenal this Mounting Anger, and set up a 5-card hand? And I don't know which one is correct. In this game, I am going to use the Snapdragon Scalers and play out the Mounting Anger. I believe that is more correct, but I'm not certain. Getting Tiger Stripe Shuko early is very good. Our opposing FaB got no offensive value from the Shuko. It also takes away one of their defensive options in a game where we really want to punish our opponent for not being able to block. Let's talk about this hand. It sucks, especially when we don't have our Snapdragon Scalers anymore. We have no Draconic Starter, we have no natural go again, period, and we have all reds. So activating FaB to pick up our Phoenix Flame to use as a starter isn't even on the table. What our hand does very well is block, and block 3, which is really just FaB's whole thing. So we can be very defensive here, stop what our opposing FaB is doing, and then play a Snatch on our turn. And Snatch being a 1-card, 4-damage attack that potentially draws a banger for our arsenal is just good. We're stopping our opposing FaB from triggering Mask of Momentum, and overall just finding ourselves in a holding pattern. Our opposing FaB leaks 2 damage over our blocks, plays out a Lava Burst. Lava Burst notably not getting Tiger Stripe Shuko bonus because the Shuko is broken, and leaving himself with no arsenal. Because FaB had to use armor to block our last attacks, he cannot block this Snatch, so we do draw a Blaze Headlong for the arsenal, and set up for our next turn, which is going to have to come through 2 more this round on these. Yikes. We draw a handful of reds. We do have an Art of War in here, which is going to fuel a very big turn, but still, a blue here would have been nice. FaB coming with 2 head jabs, playing out the Phoenix Flame, which we will block with equipment to stop the Mask of Momentum trigger, and moving to end, setting up a 5-card hand. We do want to play this Art of War. We need to if we want to counteract these 2 this round on these. We're going to pitch a Blaze Headlong, and we're going to banish a Mounting Anger. Because we're under the effects of 2 this round on these, our Kodachis cannot attack for any damage. So putting a 0-cost card into our pitch zone is not helpful this turn, but again, we are on Talishar to practice. Putting a 0-cost into your pitch zone when possible is best practices for your Kodachis to ensure that they have go again and that you can set up these big lines. We get more offensive value from keeping our Mounting Anger, but because we have this E-Strike in hand, I really want to keep this Soaring Strike to give it go again. We draw into 2 more reds, which is fine for this turn. But still, just kind of yikes. We can pitch one of these reds to our furnace, generate 2 resources, which is going to let us pick up and play a Phoenix Flame. Phoenix Flame attacking for 0, but potentially triggering Shuko. Let's start our turn with Ravenous Rabble. We need to put a red attack on the combat chain so that we can use our Flamescale Furnace. And we want to pitch our Ronin Renegade into that furnace. Pitching the Renegade into furnace is going to let us play out our Soaring Strike while keeping a floating resource for the Phoenix Flame if necessary. FaB letting Soaring Strike go through. So we're going to banish, then play our E-Strike. We know that we're going to draw a Salt the Wound. Triggering Mask of Momentum to draw up into a Lava Burst. Great draw, not incredible in this situation, but we do get to set up an arsenal. We will pick up and play our Phoenix Flame. Phoenix Flame here hitting for 0 because of this round on me, but it does trigger Shuko. So Salt the Wound here coming for 6. We put our Lava Burst into Arsenal and sit at a comfortable, effective 28 points of health with our armor. The opposing FaB opens with Ronin Renegade, following up with a Rising Resentment. You're going to see me block this with Furnace and Shuko. I don't think that is correct, considering that our hand is 3 red cards and an Art of War. I would very much like to keep our Furnace around to activate on our next turn. You're going to have to pitch a card to play this Art of War. If we draw into 2 more reds, I would like to be able to pitch one of them to Furnace for our Kodachis. But there is something to be said for blocking this Rising Resentment, making sure that a free Mounting Anger or Soaring Strike is not going to threaten a Mask of Momentum trigger. I do think it's possible that we would need to do some blocking here in order to not be dead. A FaB with 5 cards can certainly deal 25 points of damage in a turn. That isn't what we see here. FaB just going to throw out a Lava Burst, take us to 13, and pass the turn. We will be pitching our Lava Vein Loyalty to the Art of War and choosing Go Again and Banish Draw 2. We don't have Snapdragon Scalers, and we have 2 cards without Go Again in our hand. So let's keep a Snatch, give it Go Again. We're going to get 2 cards from FaB on blocks. One of them will absolutely be from hand, possibly 2 of them, or FaB gives up a 3-block and Furnace, or FaB gives up a 2-block and Mask of Momentum. Either way, we put ourselves in a good position to threaten our own Mask of Momentum later in the turn, or just get more blocks from FaB before we throw out a Lava Burst. Snatch for 4 with Go Again is not going to get blocks from FaB. Let's see what we draw into. We draw into another brand, which is great. This is going to put enough Draconic links on the chain that we can pick up and play our Phoenix Flame, just to push a little more damage this turn. Notably, our Shuko is broken, so we aren't getting extra value from our Lava Burst, but even so, pushing quite a bit of damage. We do get blocks from FaB, and fortunately, we get enough blocks that we can continue to go wide and get even more cards from FaB. He does not cleanly block our Ravenous Rabble, so that hits, our Phoenix Flame hits, and our Lava Burst will hit as well. FaB deciding to pack it in, taking the damage, he would have to give too much on blocks to stay alive and stop our Mask Momentum trigger. And then we would get to crack back with a 4-card hand with FaB at 2, very soon finding himself in Kodachi lock, and the game just spirals from there. This was a quick one. I wanted to show it to you. There is a very strong argument that we drew very well. We saw 3 Art of Wars before our opponent saw 1. We also won the die roll and got to go second. These are both things that are very helpful in the aggro matchup. Drawing your power cards before your opponent draws their power cards is absolutely something you want to practice and perfect before ProQuest. But I did want to show this game. Our opponent drew 3 This Round's on Me's, almost anti-Art of War in this matchup, so negating a lot of the value that we got from our Art of Wars. And in a post-Lexi world, FaB is poised to become the fastest aggro deck. The mirror is going to be a lot more popular. You will be seeing it a lot more often. I want to show a bit of what that looks like now. This Round's on Me is a very powerful card in the mirror, and this is a demonstration of that power. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions or feedback for me, you can leave that in the comment section below. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, if you just enjoyed looking at my new haircut, you can smash that like button for me. I will see you all back here tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay, and until then, take care.